tonight has been fighting the good fight since before the Herb Henderson Office of Minority Affairs was HHOMA. And he's a mentor whose leadership and study are a gift to us all. Please welcome Pastor Matthew J. Watts of the Grace Bible Church in Charleston, West Virginia, and longstanding member of the Tuesday Morning Group. Pastor Watts, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Good to see you. So, Pastor Watts, where do we begin with the Herb Henderson Office of Minority Affairs?
I think where we might want to begin is what I often share. One of the roles of a leader is really try to lay out a clear narrative of where we've been. And a lot of people don't realize that the Herb Henderson Office of Minority Affairs was probably about 20 years in the making. But it really has its genesis really with a report that was put together in 2003 called the Select Committee on Minority Affairs Report that laid out 23 findings of facts of challenges facing Blacks around the state and 36 specific recommendations. The state took no action on those findings of facts or recommendations. The report lingered, and we continued to bring attention to the report. And then in 2012, Delegate Cliff Moore and some of his colleagues in the West Virginia legislature, with the support of the House Speaker Rick Thompson, they drafted the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs statute. It was passed in 2012 originally. And then in 2017, the Tuesday Morning Group took a lead role in getting the office amended because we wanted to expand the scope of the office to move beyond just minorities, but also that it would include low-income Caucasians, because we thought that would be a strategic move to maybe get more support for the office. And so in 2017, the amendment was to require the office to create a pilot project to address poverty across the state. And then we thought that that would give a greater impetus and serve as a catalyst and a motivator to get the governor and the legislature to get on board to support the office. But lastly, that really hasn't happened. And what I want to make sure that your listeners understand, since the office was originally enacted with the statute in 2012 and then amended and reauthorized in 2017, it is my opinion that the office has never really seriously actually been executed in a way that really fulfilled the intent of the statute. And the intent of the statute basically is that office would do research, it would gather data and information, particularly about Blacks and other minorities. It would then use that information to inform state agencies about how they could better serve those populations. It would have meetings to get input from the public, and then it would take back recommendations to the governor and to the legislature of additional legislation or policies or funding that would be needed to address these challenges. It's my opinion the office never has really done that. And for the first years of the office up into 2020, 2024, it became more of a ceremonial office, affairs, festivals, proclamation, representing the governor at meetings and things like that, but not really doing the work that the statute calls for the office to do. So that where we are now, and I'll let you kind of lead our discussion, is that it's my opinion now where we are is that since 2024 election, after being elected governor, that the current governor, Patrick Morrissey, basically has enacted a soft closure of the office. It's my opinion he's in non-compliance with the statute. He has not appointed a director. He's not requested funding from the legislature. So I believe he's in non-compliance. And it's my opinion that the Senate President and the House Speaker Roger Hanshaw, and Senate President Randy Smith are also in non-compliance because they have not appointed the committee, the Select Committee on Minority Affairs, to oversee the office, and they have not allocated money. And in my opinion, the full legislature is in non-compliance because they have not held the governor accountable. So basically where we are now, the office, for all practical purposes is closed, but technically it cannot be closed because it's in statute, and it would take the legislature passing law and the governor signing that law to actually dissolve the office. So that's where we stand today.
So if the office The Herb Henderson Office of Minority Affairs. You explained what it was created to do.
Yes.
And in your opinion and several other opinions, and there's articles on Black by God also about the productivity of the office. If it hasn't done anything for 20 years, is that part of the default of the legislature? Or how do we hold the state accountable to that noncompliance? And in the midst of understanding that, how do we stop the soft closure, as you said, of this office?
That's an excellent question, Sister Chris. An excellent question. And let me say this. I think the lack of productivity of the Herbert Henderson Office of Minority Affairs over the last 14 years, I rest that responsibility and that burden at my feet, at the feet of other African American leaders, at the feet of NAACP, ministers, social justice leaders. The reason I say that is because we have not been diligent, fervent, consistent, and demanding. We've been passive, we've been docile, we have been accommodating. When I would try to speak about my concern about the Herbert Henderson office, I was often sort of shunned to say, no, I don't say anything because, there's a black person in the office and we don't want to appear to be critical of that individual. And I keep trying to say to people, no, the governor is the chief executive officer. The legislation requires the governor to take action. So our complaints, our concerns should be visited to the governor. So in my opinion, we failed ourselves, and we failed the community by not putting pressure on the governor and not putting pressure on the legislature. Now, having said that, as I said earlier, the legislature has been complicit in this noncompliance, and they're complicit now. And until we put pressure on them, they will continue to remain complicit. And that's why I believe that um, demanding that the governor execute the Herb Henderson statute and that the legislature be complicit with the oversight should be the top priority on the agenda of every black organization and all the progressive liberal organizations saying that they are committed to justice, that it should be the top issue. And it should be at every festival, every gathering, every time people get together, they should be talking about how do we mobilize to write letters, how do we mobilize to educate people, and how do we mobilize to challenge every single elected official, from city council people to mayors to commissioners to legislators in every county of the state, to ask them the question, are you going to join with us in demanding that the governor and the legislature execute this law? That's what I believe needs to happen. Until that happens, I think that this governor will continue to ignore it as he's done so far. I mean, he's a year and a half in. And basically, since we have not made any demands, there's been no challenge, then basically, if you call up there, no one will answer the phone at the Herb Henderson office. If you send an email, no one will respond because the office is not being manned, and that's why I call it soft closure.
Pastor Rose, I'm just for the listeners, and I have had the good fortune of listening in on many Tuesday morning groups and reading your many articles about this and how it connects to diversity, equity, and inclusion. But for folks across the state, what are we losing by the Herb Henderson office not doing what it was coded to do? For the research and things that need to be done, is this office something that could be researching the impact of foster care, Black children in foster care? I mean, give us an example of what this office could be doing and how that could benefit some of the policies and procedures in the state. Why would the governor care?
Another excellent question. As I said before, if a person will take maybe 15 minutes max to read the statute, probably not that long, they'll be amazed at how detailed it is and how it delineates what that office is charged to do. The example you gave is exactly what the office should be doing. Let's take, for example, the crisis with infant and maternal mortality, right? That office should. Yes, it's bad on mine also. I mean, you're cracking up. I'm hearing a lot of crackling when you speak. Yeah, there's still on my end. I'm hearing static. I can hear you, and I can hear you clearly, but there is still static. Okay, so you want us all to log out? So you want me to log out, Brother Maverick? Did he want us to log out, Crystal?
They want to move Martinez's video. Well, we're getting the audio.
So does she want me?
Okay, it helps everyone be better. We need this office to make sure that the state stands up for everyone. Call, send a message, send a letter, or show up and do something. Okay? Again, we need to make sure your calls to prevent them from closing this office right here. There's the office of minority affairs. Affects everybody. Okay? Everyone.
Can you hear me now?
We go. After what, Kenny?
I can hear you, but there's a lot of static with your voice. Now, is my voice clear as or static on yours?
Well, they're not. We just figured out while we're doing it, and I'm on a clip. I really want to hear your response. May, what can we do? He sounds like he's underwater, and I think it sounds like he can't hear me.
And you sound like you're underwater on my side.
The only thing I can think is, maybe I need to better him, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I logged out and
And he logged out. Let's see if we bring somebody else in and get on your issue. Hey, hello. Can you hear me? We hear you clear, yes. Hi, Rick Martin. Hi. We have Rick Martin backstage, the morning group, former Charleston NAACP president, Pastor Watson Tribe.